So namaste, namaskaram, vanakkam, sat sri akal, adab. Hello to everyone who are watching this webcast. Hope you and your loved ones are doing well. Let me start by thanking ICI leadership. I think this is second opportunity that I am getting, to present my UI AI use case, which I hope will help my friends out there. Let me start with the problem statement, which I'm trying, attempting to solve through AI. Finance function as a whole or auditors, they keep on doing some kind or the other kind of financial and operational computations. From auditor's lens, if I think, we call it reperforming some of the FS captions so that they are comfortable on the financial statements on which they are going to make their audit report. Now, these computations involve collating and transforming multiple data sets, which are both structured and unstructured data. By unstructured data, I mean, like contracts or understanding documents, or agreements, etc. And by structured document, I mean the database table, flat files, Excel, CSV, all of that. So let me, take you step by step how AI can help us with the financial computations piece. Let me share my screen very quickly. Okay, so this will give all of you a glimpse of what I'm trying to achieve here. Okay, as you can see, any financial computation involves, four broad steps. First, you extract data automatically, from these documents or from the databases. Perform data validation. Then you recompute or compute if you are, a finance function or operations team. Then you compute for from auditor's lens. You will reperform basically to get comfort. And finally, finance function will, based on these computations, would generate the accounting entry. So this is the entire four-step approach. And I'm using different AI technologies here. Like, for example, for automated data extraction, I'm using OCR, RAG, which has been explained by one of the panelists, Sunny. LLMs, for data validation, I'm using a non-traditional approach, where instead of giving rule-based data validation, we can just use AI, to and for and let the AI detect the outliers from the data. Then for financial computation, I'm again using GenAI and VBA for Excel. And finally, for accounting entries generation, I'm using LLMs. So where we can use this or who all can use this? I would say, it has vast applications. Finance function can use this, legal and compliance team can use this, operations team, internal audit, and stat audit. While today I'm going to demonstrate how we can recompute or compute Ind AS 116, which is something quite relevant for telecom sector and even other sectors. But similarly, we can perform ECL computation, relevant for FS sector, brokerage computation for asset management company, discount reperformance, payroll, revenue, and wherever we have to compute or recompute something, we can use these four-step approach. So very quickly moving on, as I said, I would demonstrate the use of Ind AS 116. I have, these sample, one second, just give me a second. I have these sample 3 lease agreement, which I'm going to read, okay? And just to make this presentation simple, because, I'm trying to explain a concept here. This is a very simple lease agreement, okay? So for Ind AS recomputation, I need to first read this, So I've already done that exercise. This is Perplexity, similar to ChatGPT. All we need to do is provide a prompt, upload these, PDF documents, and it will extract the relevant details which we would need in order to perform Ind AS recomputation. All we need to do is copy paste this and put it in Excel. Now, depending on how many leases you have to upload those many lease agreement documents and extract these relevant details. I've also used ChatGPT for this. Again, it gives you an Excel. All you need to do is download this. But again, if you are tech savvy, if you know a bit of Python programming, we can basically generate, a script basically, which will read all of this. Again, you can make use of, this is the Python script that you see here. Okay. Now in this case, you can make use of this script and basically extract this automatically from the PDF documents. Once the extraction is done, and for the sake of simplicity, I've already compiled 100 lease records here. As you can see, these are 100 records. Their start date, tenure, end date, rent at reception, inception, and increment percentage is what would we need it, as a starting point for Ind AS 116 recomputation. Now I will close this file. Okay. As the next step, before we perform recomputation, we need to be absolutely sure that whatever we are going to reperform on the basis of data which we will use as the underlying data for recomputation is absolutely right. Okay. So for that, we perform some validation checks. Now there are two kind of validation checks you can perform. Either you basically have a rule-based validation, or you can use AI here to perform validation, which is step 2. Now, in this case, I am using traditional AI, which is unsupervised outlier detection technique. And for that, I'm using ChatGPT, okay, to generate a Python script, for me. So again, a very simple prompt. I'm saying, I want an isolation forest script. So this is an unsupervised learning algorithm, which will detect outlier. And I'm specifying all the necessary details. And it generates a script, which all I have to do is put it in the IDE environment and just run it. When I run it, it automatically gives me the outliers from the data. As you can see, these three are outlier. And if we analyze these three records, the tenure in the first case is negative. Now, this is again an exception. Now, I know, you would be, wondering why we would be running this on 100 records. But like I said, computations or recomputation, we do it on millions of records or, lakhs of records. So what if you have this unsupervised learning where you do not have to specify any rules and it gives you these exceptions? Okay. So in this case, this is negative tenure. So we can go back, check the underlying record and correct it. In the second case, the tenure seems to be 99, which is fine. Okay. Sometimes we get into the lease, which is 99 years old. And in the third case, we can see the annual increment percentage is 35, which is phenomenally high. So again, all we need, I'm not saying this is incorrect record. All we have to do is check these underlying lease agreements and whether the LLM, and many panelists have highlighted in the previous presentations that LLM is not 100% accurate. So it is important that we back it up by these additional techniques. And finally, once you have corrected these records, you will go ahead and do the Ind AS 116 computation. Again, I kept the script ready. There is a big prompt that you need to write. I'm doing it using VBA, but for that, I need to know VBA. While I understand VBA a bit, okay, but I cannot write that much script. So I'm using this prompt where I've specified everything what I need.
Attention, last 2 minutes left.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. And it generates the VBA script. Okay. Now for this, I am using this Excel, which has those 10 agreements, for the time being and their cash flows and these parameters. Okay. I will paste my VBA script in this, in this notebook, in this window. I'll come back and run process report. And it quickly generates, voila, it generates the output. And this is something which it has computed based on those cash flows. I can now take this entire dump, okay, copy, and I can go back to ChatGPT. And like I said, I've already done this. Generate accounting entries based on Ind AS 116 computation. I pasted these same values that you see here, and I ran it, and it indeed generated the accounting entries that we need to pass. Okay. Again, if I could have even uploaded the chart of accounts, and it would have given us properly the accounting entry which we should have passed. So that's it from my end.
Wonderful presentation, Akashi. You showed how out of the data available, you could easily extract from the PDF document, you could extract the lease agreement and come out with Ind AS 116 reports. That was wonderful. And again, I think it goes on to show that our imagination is the limitation. Otherwise, AI can give us whatever we want, provided we have the right questions, the right prompts, etc. available. So I think it was a complete presentation and you showed us. But again, knowing certain Python, certain VBA would also probably be a big help to this AI, delving into AI and getting the most out of it.
Yeah.
What is your call on that?
Sir, I absolutely agree. Whatever features that are available in ChatGPT, Gemini, okay, those are restricted to what their front end provides us, that UI provides us. But there is a concept called API. So they also come up with API. So a lot of additional things you can do using their API. If you know a bit of programming, I'm not saying that we have to be expert in Python or VBA, so that we develop tools. That is not the expectation. But even if we know a minimum of these, the basic knowledge, so that we can at least write script and see. So this is not the actual script I had to use. I had to make some basic correction for this presentation. So again, the basic knowledge that I had in both the technologies helped me, fine tune these scripts. So you are right, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Akash, what is your experience? The way you have shown the extraction is very important element here to get the correct output, in fact. So what is your experience of how the ChatGPT and other tools are performing in data extraction, whether they are capable of getting the data in our image file or PDF or any Word doc or Excel in the similar way, or there is some deviation happening?
So, sir, deviation would happen. No, it depends on the quality of the input that we provide. For example, if we, give an handwritten document, or for instance, if we give a scanned document which is of poor quality, okay. Now it has its own limitation, because if a human being himself can't read, then we cannot expect AI to read it. Okay, while the technology is evolving. For example, this ChatGPT 4 Omni, okay, which is the best of the models I believe are available out there. It is becoming better and better. That's why the step 2 of validation was very important. We cannot rely on the sole output we are getting from LLMs. We need to back it up by data validations. Okay, and I used AI only to perform the validation, but again, all I'm saying is we can even perform some rule based and back it up by the AI based data validation. Once we are absolutely sure, we can go ahead and use another layer of AI to compute things.
Yeah, that's actually the point. I think the extraction and validation, it can be used as a something input for even forensic audit, because that is something is a big sector, and the professionals can leverage this infrastructure facility to get the desired result for the task they have been assigned.